Want to try your hand as a DM? You can with the Guild of Engineering on today's Wednesday Morning Drive. Hey everyone, Matt Cribbs here, and welcome back to another Wednesday Morning Drive. How are you? I'm great. I'm doing well. The snow's all melted. It's getting warmer. It's getting towards spring. This winter, it wasn't really enough snow for me. I know I'm strange. I like snow. Trying something a little bit different today. I accidentally left the batteries on my wireless component of my lavalier mic. So today I just have it plugged directly into the mic itself, plugged directly into the GoPro via a little USB adapter. Hopefully this is working and you can hear me. If not, then this will come out on Thursday. Well, you won't see this at all, and we'll have Happy Thursday Morning Drive, and I'll explain why. So let's see. Today we continue our series of role-playing games on mobile platforms. Now, specifically I play Android, so I'm hoping, I keep forgetting to check whether all of these are available on both iOS and Android, but call it Android, or I'll call it mobile and cross my fingers. Because usually, let's be honest, things are mostly on iOS first. I know it's sad, but kudos to Apple for developing their developer reach out and environment and program, not environment. Anyway, today's game I was actually torn about reviewing. I wasn't sure whether it counted as a role-playing game, but then I looked at it, and it has the elements of a role-playing game. You have characters that level up and they gain skills and they go defeat monsters and they, explore dungeons and they have different classes and roles. And so that all fits into a role-playing game. The difference is you don't control them yourself. You actually take the role. I said in the intro, Dungeon Master, but, it's not really that. You take the role of this kind of overseer where, you build out, the guild hall. Well, first of all, let's step back. The game is the Guild of Dungeoneering, by, oh gosh, what was it? I just looked it up because I couldn't remember the publisher. By Versus Evil. So, check it out. I got it as part of the last Humble Bundle sale, which I think was titled Mobile Strategy Games. But after looking at it, I'm like, no, this fits. And also is just so damn fun. I had to include it. So you take the role of an overseer and you have to build your guild hall, which, contains various heroes that work for your guild. And, you can build things that give them better equipment. You can build things that give them better skills. You build rooms that recruit different types of heroes, starting with the chump, who's the first one you get, and expanding out to mimes and cut purses and bruisers and all sorts of higher level, different classes. So that's really cool. Then you take them and you go adventure in a series of dungeons that have quests. And when you go into the dungeon, you basically place things in the dungeon. You place rooms in the dungeon, and you basically get cards. You get five cards, I think, in a turn, and you get to place up to 3 of them. And you can put rooms down, you can put treasure in the rooms, and you can put monsters in the rooms. And based on their internal logic, the players will go wherever they want to in your dungeon. So you can tempt them ways with treasure, you can scare them with big monsters, or tempt them with monsters they think they can take. And you basically, do them that way. And the goal is to get them to complete the quests for you. And it's pretty cool. And then when you fight the monsters, it's also a card-based thing. Each of your heroes has a different set of cards that represents their abilities, and the monster plays a card and you do that. The combat system is pretty simple but very entertaining. There's 2 types of attack. There's magic and there's physical. And then there's modifiers that basically can let the attack, ignore a shield. There's shields that block the attack. And there's ones, the monsters always go first unless you have a power that lets you go first on a turn. And the goal is to defeat the other side, reduce them to 0 hit points before yours. And it's pretty, it is very simple. But with the way the different cards work and the different powers you have, some of them have, 3 attacks, that cannot be blocked, or, 2 attacks and you gain a health if one of them hits, and you have things like that. And so it really, it's a very engaging and interesting combat system to be able to do that and plan out what your attacks are. So a lot of fun to play, and the mechanics themselves are a big part of that. It's really fun and cool to build. I did think the guild hall was a little bit lackey. I wish I could rearrange my guild hall, because we put something down, and I wanted to, once I got more things, I wanted to kind of rearrange it and make it look cooler, just because I like things like that. But you can't. When you put them down, they're down, and that was kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. The art style is really, really cool. So the mechanics are really fun and engaging and interesting to play. But not only that, the game itself is just, it's just so damn cute that it's a lot of fun. First of all, the graphics and the art style are basically, pencil sketches come to life. Everything looks like it was, most things look like they were hand-drawn with a pencil on a piece of paper. And the various pieces move over top like that. Now, you can get, there are splashes of color, the blue and the red of the different attack types, that obviously are not, but they still fit into the general aesthetic. And the characters are really, they're cartoony. They got their big heads, their little bodies, and they're just cute. So it's really fun to look at, and it's black and white mostly, but it's got a really great aesthetic. But what really, really shines is the music. It's got a soundtrack that basically goes to that. That's like a bard, basically, singing various different events that happen. When you die, he'll sing a little song saying, "Oh no, you died." When you, get a new hero type, they'll sing a song about that hero. And it's really fun to listen to. This is one of the ones that I would actually pause whatever podcast I was listening to and actually listen to the game itself. So, it's a lot of fun, to look at and to play. So definitely kudos in the design and that department. Replayability, I can't really talk much about the replayability. I haven't been able to get past only, the first several rounds of heroes and first several rounds of dungeons. I keep getting defeated, but in a way that's still fun and not frustrating at all. So that's cool. One of the problems, and one of the reasons I get defeated, and it's not really a problem, it's just the way the game works, but something to be aware of is heroes dying is basically a non-event. Your heroes, whenever they start a dungeon, they start at level 1, and they gain levels by defeating monsters and then by finding loot in the dungeon. They start unequipped. So you can get more power to take on the end bosses by doing more before you tackle the end boss in the dungeon. So there's that to it. So if you're starting from scratch with a new hero, it's not really, any better than a hero that's been around for a while. I mean, that said, as heroes defeat dungeons, they can get battle scars. I think you can only get up to 2 of them, which is enough. But sometimes those are good, sometimes those are bad. They're not always, they're not a leveling up mechanic. So yeah, the way you figure out how to defeat a dungeon is by trying it. And your dudes will die. And that's fine. You get a graveyard with an infinite number of graves. It's clearly designed for you just to throw minions at it until you figure out what you need to do. But what I mean on that is certain dungeons contain certain monsters that are strong versus certain attacks, or weak versus certain attacks, or have certain attacks that you need a strong defense on. And there's absolutely no way for you to know this before you just go into the dungeon and try it. So if you send like a melee type guy into a dungeon that has a lot of mobs that are immune to melee attacks or can block them effectively, you're going to have a hard time. And the same thing for magic. So you really do have to experiment and see what the best hero type to tackle a specific dungeon is, and the best layout and the best way for them to go. Sometimes you need to burst right into the main thing because there's a timer and that he'll gain power if you spend too long. Sometimes you need to, spend time to get your character more stronger before you take it on. So, and you learn these by trial and error. But that's cool and it's fun. The thing that is a little frustrating is you can have a lot of dungeons being open at the same time that you can tackle. You can have, many of them. And since there is no indicator on what is contained within that dungeon and within that quest, it becomes a memory game of you saying, oh, I am doing this one, I need this type of hero. And there are many, many heroes of mine that died because I'm like, oh, I need to bring this. And then I did it, I'm like, oh, no, wrong one. I was thinking about the wrong one. I need a different type of hero. At which point, you're done. So you just got to try again with someone else. And that is a little bit frustrating. I wish there was kind of a, once you had been in a dungeon, I wish there was kind of a, inspect what was in there so you could just to tease your memory so that you remembered which one you were looking at. But, that's a minor, that's almost a quality of life. That's a minor quibble, I think, on an otherwise great game. So, yeah, not a traditional role-playing game, but I still think it fits firmly within the bounds of what I'm talking about here. I would definitely say Guild of Dungeoneering, go pick it up. It is a really fun game. You will not regret it. And I will see you next week. Until then, keep playing. Talk to you later. Bye.